Ross in the Doghouse is the brilliant 12th episode of the second season of Frasier, directed by the wonderful James Burrows, and there are quite a few things about this that I love. As always with my Frasier discussions, there will be spoilers from this point on as I go into a bit of detail about the narrative, and this really is a brilliant episode. It starts off with Roz tripping over Bulldog and basically doing a spectacular somersault, and unfortunately injures her ankle. So she's out of work for a couple of days, and Frasier goes to her apartment, and we get to see Roz's apartment. I think this is the first time we've seen it, if I remember rightly, and it's definitely very different from Frasier's. It's very interestingly decky. That makes it fun, because every time I see the apartment, my mind looks at something else, and I always pick up on a different bit of decor that I perhaps hadn't seen before. Absolutely love it. And Bulldog comes to visit her, and we have this really sweet scene where Bulldog is painting Roz's toenails because she can't quite bend without it hurting. And it's really lovely, and we get to see this different side to Bulldog. And the reason he's being nice to her is because he actually wants her to produce his show. And Frasier thinks that that's not it. He must be trying to get on her good side because he wants to sleep with her. Is that the case? Well, I'll come back to that point in a moment. We also get to see Roz with Daphne. Daphne's doing a bit of physiotherapy, or at least massaging Roz's foot. I'm not sure to what extent she worked with Roz outside of the scene, but it's nice to see them together. I also love when we get to see Roz and Martin interacting, as I think they get on really well. So it was just great to see Roz in Frasier's apartment, and we have some other small little things that made me smile, such as Martin's light-up shoes. Absolutely loved them. Niles's anecdote about his hedges. A lot of fun, but the bulk of the episode does focus on, well, Roz producing Bulldog's show, but also Frasier kind of needing to find a new producer. We meet Bruce, and then there's this montage with a bunch of other really inadequate producers. And it did kind of make me think what the show could have been like if they'd gone a different direction with Roz. Of course, as we know, a certain Friends actor was actually supposed to be playing Roz until they realised it wasn't a good fit. And it's just so much praise in this episode for Peri Gilpin and the role she plays, and how much quality and brilliance Roz brings, not just to Frasier's show, but to the TV show in general. And I love the character so much in this episode. Really helps to highlight her value. And when it comes to whether or not Bulldog wanted to have sex with her, I hoped he didn't. And honestly, I don't think he did. I don't believe that was ever his intention. But he saw an opportunity and he took it. And part of me is disappointed when he starts to disrobe. And part of me can't help but smile because it's done in such a ridiculous way. It's so comedic, with him bringing out loads of props and things, and it's just ridiculous that I can't help but find it entertaining, and that disappointment really fades away quite quickly. So I also feel like it was important to not lose the fact that Bulldog isn't a perfect person, that he actually can be quite sleazy and maybe not the most thoughtful, but we still get to see that other side of him here. And we get to see that, like most people, Bulldog is actually quite a complex individual. So it's a really great episode to study Bulldog's character, and also a really great celebration of Roz as a character. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it, letting us see Roz's apartment, something a little bit different. It's a brilliant episode. I know that's usually what I say with Frasier, but it's a brilliant show. There are occasionally some weak links, but thankfully Roz in the Doghouse is not one of them. I really love this episode. Pretty sure I'll always be happy to watch it. I just think Roz is such an amazing character, so anything that allows us to get an insight into her personality, her home life a bit more, that's something that I'm going to celebrate. And needless to say, Roz in the Doghouse is an episode that's definitely worth celebrating.